Hi there. Now we're going to do lesson 330. I will not hurt myself again today. What a powerful declaration of the self-love that you have been awakening within you. This desire to see yourself as God sees you. This desire to own the holiness within you and make a decision that you are not going to let yourself hurt anymore. That you are going to shift and lift out of the density of the ego and lift into the high frequency of love, the high vibrations of joy, and accept your purpose as God gave it to you, which is to be happy. I will not hurt myself again today. Paragraph 1. Let us this day accept forgiveness as our only function. Why should we attack our minds and give them images of pain? Why should we teach them they are powerless when God holds out His power and His love and bids them take what is already theirs? This is just so powerful and so important. We attack our minds all the time when we believe things that are not true. We attack our minds when we say, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable enough, I'm not worthy enough. Every single time that we do that, what we're saying is, God, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a dummy. You may have created the universe, but look at what you did with me. I am a failure. And that's an attack on our mind, and it sends a signal deep within us that causes this pain, this contraction, because our beingness knows that that is not true. The signal of contraction is our beingness, even our body communicating to us. You are accepting something in mind that is not consistent with the truth of who you are as God created you. So every single time you suffer, every single time you have pain, it's actually an indicator of what's going on in your mind. This is why we have to take this inventory of what we think, what we believe, because the work is in training our mind to think and believe with what God says is true, not with what we've been conditioned to believe is true. Sentence number 4 in paragraph 1. The mind that is made willing to accept God's gifts has been restored to spirit and extends its freedom and its joy, as is the will of God united with His own. So once we make a decision that we're only going to believe what is true about us and believe what is true about everybody else, see the goodness in every single other being, now we're aligning with God. Holy Spirit has room inside of us to lead us to the places where the lessons are going to be easy, to allow us to shift our perception because we're not so rigid holding on to being right about something that is totally, completely incorrect. And then we experience freedom. Our mind is freed up from blockages. The joy that we feel is because we're not thinking things that activate suffering. We are a clear vessel. Now joy can be felt because we're in alignment with that high vibration of the truth of who we are. The self, capital S self, which God created, cannot sin. No matter what you have done as a human, your holy self, your soul self, your higher self has never sinned because it is totally, completely untouched by anything that you do as a human. And it is precisely because we don't understand how to activate that holiness and infuse our humanity with us that we do some pretty horrible things that cause guilt and shame. But we need to recognize that the part of us that does horrible things is the part of us that is using an untrained mind. It is our ego self. It is our human self. The part of us that is God's, the Holy Spirit, the higher self, the soul in us, the truth of who we are, our authentic self, uses the mind of God, is connected to the mind of God. So what we're doing is we're learning to put our human self aside, put what I think is right aside, and get curious, well, what does God know? And once you begin to realize that what God knows is our perfection, our wholeness. Why? Because God created us in its image, and there's nothing missing in God. There's nothing that is not whole in God. So we're learning to receive the goodness of who we are according to how God sees us. So the self, the higher self, the soul, which God created, cannot sin and therefore cannot suffer. If you have a part of you that cannot suffer, don't you want to align with that? Wouldn't you want to take advantage of this goodness that is inside of you and align and connect and bring that forth? You absolutely would if you knew that it was true. Let us choose today that He, God, be our identity and thus escape forever from all things the dream of fear appears to offer us. So we're these lessons, especially from 221 forward, it's a section of the course that we're beginning to own the truth of who we are. The lessons of 220 and prior are lessons that are helping us see how the mind got conditioned to believe things that are not true, how the mind operates when it's operating with the ego, seeing only the past. So we get trained into believing that we are allowed, we're entitled to miracles. We begin to see that our purpose is to be happy, that we are the light of the world. All of those statements activate in us the memories of the opposite of them. Now, from lesson 221 forward, we are focusing strictly on what is true about us, what is good about us. We're creating a relationship with our higher self, with our soul. And as we make statements like this, we're beginning to realize, wow, so the self which God created cannot sin and therefore cannot suffer. So there's a part of me that doesn't need to suffer? Let me create a relationship with that one, because I am deciding that I will not hurt myself again today. I am committed to choosing to will with the will of God. I want to know what is fabulous in me, what is magnificent in me, so that I can let go what I have been believing is not so. Because it's those beliefs about what I'm not that has us suffer. Let's go to the prayer now. Paragraph 2. Father, your Son cannot be hurt. This is the Holy Spirit in you, the higher self, the soul speaking. This is the part of you that's making that declaration. Your ego can't say this. This is your soul. Father, your son, your daughter, your child cannot be hurt. And if we think we suffer, we but fail to know our one identity we share with you. If I'm thinking I'm suffering, I don't know the part of me that does not suffer. I don't know the part of me that's aligned with God. I'm operating from the part of me that blocks that alignment. Sentence number 3, we would return to it today to be made free forever from all our mistakes and to be saved from what we thought we were. All of our mistakes is believing things that we've been conditioned by other people that we thought were true but actually are not. If we've made mistakes, is to accept a definition about who we are as a human, as being all that we are, and we didn't accept the truth of who we are as a soul, as a magnificent being. So what we are saying is today, I'm choosing to only believe what is true according to God. When I believe that, then I'm not going to be suffering. I'm not going to be hurting. I'm not going to be in pain, because I will no longer be blocking the truth of who I am from emerging through me. Isn't this beautiful? I love these lessons, so powerful. That was lesson 330. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next lesson.